Hey guys, hope you're all having a great and fantastic day. Real quick, I want to share with you how easy it is for you or anyone in your family to get started on a pre-approval to identify if home ownership is right for you. Now, first things first, you want to land directly on our website. So you want to punch in yourfloridamortgageteam.com. As you can see, I've already preempted this screen to do so, make it easy for this presentation. Now, once you land here, there's plenty of good information for you and your family to peruse, even some coaching advice and tips that you can identify and read up on to find out, again, if home ownership is right for you. But for the purpose of this video, I just want to share with you how easy it is to start your mortgage application online. So the first things first, once you land on this landing page, you want to hit the buy button. And this will take you directly over to where you're going to want to start and create your account. Now this is important because this is just where you're going to create your account. If you have any upfront questions or maybe even concerns, my contact information is right there. And you'll also see my email address in the event you want to shoot me a quick email. But quick heads up, any type of correspondence that you'll see from me will be coming from this email address. So make sure that you put it in your good list in case it goes to your spam or junk folder. So in order to get started, you just want to hit the click here button. And then you want to add in your corresponding information, such as your name and a phone number, and then you want to create a password. So I already have some preempt stuff that's in here. So let's put a phone number. Let's put an email address. And create a quick password. Accept the terms and hit create an account. Not now. Now once you land here, you're going to see exactly where it puts you right on your loan application. I've obviously have done this before. This is why it says test. And when you create your account, it'll actually say your name. So no worries on that part, but that's the reason why it says that. But at any rate, once you log in, it puts you directly right on your loan application. So follow the prompts. And I'm going to show you guys how easy it is to do so just by filling out these prompts. I want to purchase. Primary residence, how much you plan to spend. If you don't know that number, just kind of make any number up, something that you've seen, or, do you want to live in $1 million house? You know how much you can afford. Or do you want to live in a $40,000 house? And you also know you don't want to live in certain areas. So just kind of pick a number that you feel is most comfortable for you and your family. And it's obviously my job to figure out if that number fits. The source of down payment. Is it coming from your checking, deposit? Are you selling another property? Any one of these correspondence you can choose. Let's just make it easy. Say checking, how much you plan to put down. You know how much you already have in your savings, so this should give you an idea as far as how much you have saved up and what your comfort level would be. Most minimal down payments are going to fall under the 3.5% bracket. So let's just go ahead and plug that in. We're here in the beautiful Sunshine State. 30-year term. If you're doing it with a spouse, you would want to hit with co-borrowers. If you're filling out the application with someone that is not going to be living in the home, but you're using maybe their income to help qualify, such as maybe a parent or maybe even a child for vice versa scenarios. But for this example, let's just say by myself. And then this is where you would want to enter your name. And then hit next. Now we're getting into income. Are you self-employed? This is going to open up a couple additional fields if you are. For this example in the presentation, we're just going to say no, that we're not. You obviously have to be employed in order to apply for a home mortgage or any loan for that matter. You have to be in a position to pay it back. So not employed shouldn't be a button we want to be hitting, but I'm not self-employed. Your base salary, this is a good question I always come across. They're obviously asking for monthly, but we're looking at gross. So a good way to figure this number out is, take whatever it is that you make annually and divide it by 12, and that should give you a gross amount. If you're commissioned, there's a different calculation for that, and it's not your job to try to figure out what that number is going to be. Just bulk it all together, and then when you and I have a conversation, we'll be able to figure all that in much more detail. So for this example, let's just say you're pulling down $4,500 a month. All right, and that's the only income that you're pulling in. All right, hit next. Please include any bank accounts, investment accounts that will cover your down payment, closing costs, and reserves. Reserves are used to strengthen a file with maybe low credit score scenarios, or maybe a high debt ratio scenarios. So what I usually like to instruct clients is, if you have any type of bunch of different accounts, you want to list them, but if only try to focus on the ones that you're going to use or declare for the loan purpose. If you have $2 million in one account and $2 million in another account, we don't need to see assets of $4 million. I'm being exaggerating for a reason, but I'm just trying to paint the picture that less paperwork is the path of least resistance. So let's just go ahead and add an account. Let's just say it's a savings account. And if you saw that there, you can get a gift. You can use your savings checking. There's many different ways, but for this example, savings account. Let's just say it's good old Chase. And let's say you have saved $10,000. All right. Where do you currently live? Let's just go ahead and plug this in. Let's just say that you currently rent. Monthly rent is $1,500. Say you've been here at least 2 years, because they need to have a 2-year history. And let's just go ahead and plug in the address. 1, 2, 3. If your mailing address is different than your current address, then you'd want to label that. But if it's not, that's okay. Just keep plugging through, hit next. If you're currently renting, then more than likely not owning any properties, but in some cases, some people do have investment rentals. They're just not owning where they live. That's not uncommon. So if you do own any properties, this is where you would add a property. If you don't own any, you can skip that section just by hitting next. Employment. This is pretty important, because this is going to help us figure out the income and who to reach out to verify income. So let's say employer name. They want obviously the business phone number, someone to get in contact with to verify your employment, preferably somebody in HR. And obviously, whatever your title is, some businesses or employers, they may or may not have titles, but whomever that you report to should be able to identify what your title is. This is important. How many years you've been at a job. If you just started a new job, that's okay. We're just going to need to know the previous employment information too. So let's just make it easy, because we want 2 years history. Let's just plug in 2 years. And they want to see that you've been in this industry for at least 2 years, because it shows stability that you've been in that industry. So again, for this presentation, let's just make it easy. Say you've been there 2 years, 2 years. Now they're going to ask you for your email. Ask you for personal information. There you go. Now, if you're married, unmarried, or separated, sometimes individuals that are going through a divorce and are separated, or at least not legally separated, you're still technically married. Now, if you're separated, yes, select that corresponds, but follow the prompts that correspond in that sense. If you've been with someone for 7-10 years and you're not legally married, but you've been with them forever, you're still considered unmarried. So just make sure you select the one that's corresponding to you. Not how many children that you have. This is important. Contingent on certain loans, especially if it's a VA loan, that is important. Demographic. This is gonna have to get filled out, but if you feel uncomfortable filling it out, that's okay. You do have that option there too. Obviously, you should know your sex. And then this is just seeing if it has any errors. So it's asking me to collect and this needs the 4-digit year, not the 2-digit year. So see, just to show that we're all human beings, we all make mistakes. All right, any judgments against you? No. Have you had declared any bankruptcies? No. If it has, then it sucks, yes. Any foreclosures in the past 7 years? Yes or no. You just want to follow all the prompts that correspond with you. This part might take a little time because you have to read each question. This is important here because this last question determines if you're a first-time homebuyer or not. If you owned any property in the last 3 years, then you would need to, you would not be considered a first-time homebuyer. Then once you hit next, overview, it's going to check to see if you've completed, and you're done. It's that simple, guys. This has been an example as far as how long it takes to start a mortgage application from start to finish. Once you complete, I myself will receive it in real time, and I will be following